Hi everyone, welcome to GradCast, the official radio show and podcast for the Society of Graduate Students here at Western. I'm your host, Yousuf, and I'm joined here with
Rhys Paterson.
Awesome. And today our hosts are our commissioners. We had the previous episode also had a couple of commissioners, the Racial Equity Commissioner, Denise, and also Francesca, who is our Gender Concerns Commissioner. This time we have Shannon Carnahan, who's doing her Masters of Library and Information Science, and she is our Pride Commissioner. Geneveave Barbo, who's doing her Masters of Applied Health Sciences, who's our Indigenous Commissioner. And finally, we have our Accessibility Commissioner, Elizabeth Mohler, who's doing her PhD in Occupational Sciences. So welcome everybody to our show.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yay! And as I said, GradCast is totally cat friendly. We love cats. So nice to see cats. So welcome. And would you like to share with us a bit about your background and how you came to be interested in the commissioner roles that you are in? So first, if Shannon, would you like to go first?
Sure. Hi, this has been my first year at Western University. I'm originally from Saskatchewan. I did my undergrad in English and Women's and Gender Studies at the University of Saskatchewan. I have a background as a volunteer for the Students' Union Pride and Women's Centers at the University of Saskatchewan, and also as an LGBTQIA organization in Saskatoon called Out Saskatoon, where I did a bunch of volunteer work. I also did peer assisted learning at the University of Saskatchewan. I got involved on the SOGS Discord server as a way to connect with other university students while we're trying to be socially distanced. And on there, I was told that the position of Pride Commissioner was open and that they had received no applicants for it. A few other people expressed interest, but they weren't comfortable being outed publicly. So I was the only person who was okay with being publicly out. So I volunteered to become the Pride Commissioner.
Awesome. And so we'll unpack a lot more of that in a bit. Elizabeth, go ahead. You are our Accessibility Commissioner.
Sure, thank you, Yousuf, and I'm really excited to be in this role. I'm a newbie to the team, although I guess I'm a newbie that's also an old bee. So I was the Accessibility Commissioner in 2010, 2011, and then when I was doing my master's, and then I came back and was invited to apply for the role, and have been in the role only a couple of months. So since January, I'm really excited. The commissioner team is really strong this year. I'm really excited to work with everyone. And I think part of what interests me in this role and why I'm excited and passionate about it is I am a student who has experiential knowledge of disability and I've done a lot of work in higher education and disability. So I'm excited to bring that lens to the table, but also really excited about the opportunities to work intersectionally with other commissioners across the board. And I think one of the things that I'm most excited about for this year is being able to think about ways to be virtually accessible and inclusive while we're all socially or physically distancing, but socially coming together.
Awesome. Wow. Genevieve.
Hi, everybody. So background. I already forgot your question. Background. So I'm a nurse for about 8-9 years now. Been in Montreal practicing nursing, and this is my second master's. My previous one is in nursing, where I've done in Athabasca University, and it's my first year as well, like Shannon in Western University. As a nurse, I've had a lot of experience working with Indigenous population when I worked up north in Manitoba. So there I had more like community engagement and community programs, and also after school programs with the kids and the students. Then I became a clinical instructor at McGill University, where I got more experience and exposure in supporting students who are Indigenous as well. So I built my interest helping out for the advocacy and education equality for Indigenous population. And when I saw that there was vacancy also for the position of Indigenous Commissioner, then nobody was applying as well. So I've volunteered for the position, similar as Shannon. Yeah, that's mostly it for me.
Maybe I want to ask a bit of a follow-up because I saw something similar in what's been said. So you mentioned that there was some difficulty in getting volunteers for some of these positions. Why do you think that may be the case, and how do you think we can improve that situation and really have more people involved and participate? And if there's an election, there are like 7 people running and there's more competition. How do we improve that? Sure, go ahead.
So for me, everything was brand new. I didn't have much information of what was the roles of commissioner. I just jump into it. So maybe for future references, other people would be more engaged if they have more background to what commissioner does, what SOGs are really like, and what would the job entail. Because being a grad student, you know that you have a lot of commitments already. So you don't know how to balance those out if you don't exactly know what the job description is for a commissioner.
Awesome.
I think
And
that's an excellent point. I can maybe just sort of tack on to that. I think like I took the role on sort of halfway through this semester, but I think one of the things about the commissioner roles is I don't think that they're well known outside of maybe council. So getting the word out, a little bit more broadly could help. But I also wonder, sometimes I think about, because it's so open, people maybe don't know what they're getting into. I don't know that we all know what we're getting into when they sign up or think about applying. So maybe people, I wonder if they're a little bit nervous because they don't know exactly what their role entails. It's not like just sort of like a job description. So people are a little bit hesitant to apply. And then I think the third piece to that is that there is a degree of outing that can happen in these positions. So myself, I'm happy to share my experiential knowledge around disability, but not everybody is comfortable talking about their own situation, and perhaps not as comfortable in being in a public way that outs them, I guess. Not to say that that has to happen, but I think it can. And so perhaps I wonder if that's why people are a little bit nervous to step forward into those positions.
thank
I
you.
can definitely relate to that. Like, as I said previously, there were a handful of other people who expressed interest in the role of Pride Commissioner, but none of them were comfortable being outed publicly. So that was like a huge barrier. So I also didn't really know anything about the position, being brand new to Western and brand new to grad school as well. So being willing to be a little bit known is definitely an asset in getting positions like this. And another reason why I don't think there was like a whole lot of applicants is because of the condition of the world right now. The pandemic has added a huge layer of stress onto everyone and impacts their ability to get out and organize, and their ability to go out and find community organizations.
Yeah. Wow. Well, First, thank you so much for sharing all of this. That means that we have a lot more work to do to make things a lot more accessible to begin with, in terms of just the application process. I know when I first got contacted by a commissioner, I was like, am I in trouble? A commissioner is contacting me. I must be in trouble. It wasn't me, was my reaction, but I learned that's just an advocacy position. But yeah, Rhys, do you have any questions?
Yeah, so I think everybody, just in SOGS in general, I think everybody knows SOGS based on the fact that it runs the grad club, and the grad club is a favorite place for every single grad student on campus for sure. If you were to kind of sell your position a little bit, like what's the time commitment like? Do you enjoy what you do? What is the best part about being a SOGS commissioner and representing Western?
What I really enjoy about this position is it gives me another opportunity to continue with community development career work, even if it has been online in my experience. Like my previous work, I like to organize fun events for people to get together, and then also to hold discussion groups where we can talk about culture, how we fit into culture, and some of the problematic parts about our culture. And kind of get a better sense of what people in the community want out of their community and of their organizations. For example, we held an online virtual discussion group where we started with a very broad thing talking about queer representation in media. And then we got to talk about the things that we enjoy in the media we found, things that we don't enjoy in the media that we found. And then also just generally asking them, it's like, well, what do you think of some of the previous events that have been held in your undergrad or in your grad life? And we had an excellent discussion how some undergrad organizations, their events tend to focus too much on sexuality and too much on bar culture. And we kind of discussed how, like, okay, not all of us like really want to go out and spend a lot of money on alcohol, and none of us want to really get involved in hookup culture. We want organizations where we can kind of connect as a more mature community and show the other sides of our personalities in that kind of and in an LGBT inclusive environment.
Yes, grad students are very tired. All we're doing is just working and studying. The last thing that we want to do is go. There's a very, very, very large divide between, I find, and to bounce off your idea, there's a huge divide between undergraduate and graduate clubs, like maturity level, right? Like we've already done kind of like the partying, we've done the bars, we've done the 12 bars of Christmas, and we've gone to Barney's, and we've done Jack's, and we've done all that. Well, obviously this means nothing to you because you haven't gone to, gone out. But when everything clears up, definitely go to Barney's and have a Caesar. That is my recommendation for everybody.
Yeah, that's one of the things is I tried moving, I tried moving to London hoping the pandemic would calm down, but it didn't calm down as quickly as I hoped it would. So after this, we've got so many plans. Everyone wants to go on like a craft beer tasting tour. Oh. So we're making like bunches of big plans for as soon as the pandemic's over.
I like it, Shannon. I'm going to crash your party. I love tastings of anything. Even
do it. Tasting. There's been talk of getting a bouncy castle.
Okay, I'm in. As soon as you has said the words bouncy and castle in the same sentence, I'm in.
As we talk about mature grad students, I mean,
bouncy castle,
right?
I think what makes me excited about the role is the ability to make a difference, whether it's listening to your constituents by having, an informal peer support night or meeting with someone one-on-one just to say, you're not alone and we're going to do our best to walk this together, whatever this is. And I think that ability to make a difference is really impactful, especially during the pandemic, but even after. And I think the other thing what I get out of it is it's a great opportunity as a grad student professionally. Like, you're connecting with other students outside of your program. You're connecting potentially with senior leadership and administration. So you are gaining opportunities that you wouldn't, at least for myself, I wouldn't gain if I was just, working on my own thesis work. So that's been invaluable to me. And I can't forget number 3. It's fun. Like, who doesn't want to come on the Gradcast and talk about bouncy castles and beer tastings, or have an awesome movie night, which is something I know a lot of commissioners are doing. So yay. And also just, the informal kind of chats that happen, outside of SOGS meetings. So I think those are my 3.
There's definitely, depending on the department, I find that there's a little bit of a divide between grad students. Like, you have the senior grad students, the PhDs that are well seasoned to the department, and then newbies, the fresh meat that comes in, and you kind of feel lost, and no one's really kind of like helping one another. Obviously, you have your lab, and you have, I mean, it's different for every department, but in my department, at least, like, there's labs and there's little clusters of people, and yeah, we're welcoming, but it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to do my work, and I'm going to sit over here. You're going to go over there, and we're going to go our separate ways. And joining something like this, like Gradcast or even SOGS, like as a commissioner, even in more of an advanced role, you're connecting and you're being friendly and you're creating friendships and making the most of your time at Western, which is a fantastic thing, definitely to take advantage of the student life for as long as possible.
I think one last thing I would like to add on those amazing points that both of you have mentioned, well, all of you have mentioned, is just, I guess one last thing is, being a commissioner, I got to meet a lot of people that are also very passionate of advocacy and leadership and the roles, basically, and it's quite inspiring. Like, this students that I would have not met otherwise, or would have had the chance to meet them, but won't meet them in a platform where they can voice out their concerns, voice out their passion for justice and equity, I guess. So I think SOGS has a really good, safe environment and platform for that.
Yeah. Yes, Shannon, go ahead.
Yeah, to also build up on what everyone has said, working in the commissioner role, it's an excellent way to meet people who are wonderfully inclusive, who only want to help people. So and for a person like me who has a fair amount of social anxiety, I love going to volunteer positions because you get to meet the best people and who are just wonderfully accepting of new people. So it's another plus to doing this kind of work, is great social connections.
That's really nice to hear. I guess I have some specific questions for all 3 of you that are related as well. So, for example, Elizabeth, I know you've been working a lot on closed captioning, making the council a lot more inclusive, having some training sessions. Would you like to tell us a bit about that?
Sure, thank you. So one of the things that I've been working on is getting captioning at our monthly meetings. So basically, captioning is writing at the bottom of the screen that basically says exactly what is being said. And so we tried at our council meeting to have just the live captioning that Zoom offers on, which is sort of automated. And then for our AGM, for the first time, we had a live captioner. So it was a real person typing out everything that was said. And it was really good. I think I got some feedback even for people that don't live with a hearing disability, that it was helpful for them to be able to see visually what was being said. So we're working on that. We've also started to roll out some accessibility training. We had our first one yesterday for commissioners and executive with Melanie Stone, who works for the City of London, and that's going really well. And in addition, I think another big thing that I'm helping organize is peer support nights for undergrads and grads, and that's been super fun as well.
Awesome. And that's really, really nice to hear actually that there was feedback from people who just still thought it was a positive thing, and having that culture that, you know, this is a human rights kind of thing and not just like, oh, whoever wants it could have it or something like that. That's much better. So Genevieve as well, I know that you've been working with Francesca, our Gender Concerns Commissioner, on an event for March with the speaker. Could you tell us a bit about that as well?
Yeah, there's another event this week, so can I speak with about that as well?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
So this one is about a screening for a video, a documentary on murder, Indigenous MMWI, so missing and murder of Indigenous women. There, I got it. So that's and girls. But this one's gonna be screening on Thursday. There's a very short documentary that would just highlight some awareness on this unfortunate ongoing events and situations here in Canada. For the one that you've asked me, Yousuf, that's I believe that's in 2 weeks, where we're gonna have a speaker from ANOVA who's gonna talk about more gender-based violence, or how it is for women during this pandemic, their challenges, and any other experience that women or students have during this pandemic. It's going to be streamed live in Facebook.
Awesome. And Shannon, I wonder, you've had many events. What is the event that really that you really enjoyed in particular, or had an impact on you?
I really enjoyed our kind of intersectional screening of The Death and Life of Marsha P. Johnson. That was wonderful to get to explore the intersectional film, and we talked about that on the last Gradcast I was on. And other events we really enjoyed, I really liked the discussion on queer representation in media that we had. And also around Christmas time, we had a screening of the movie The Prom with a bunch of people, and that was another really fun thing. I like enjoy being able to like text and chat with the other people while we're screening the movie, because you kind of get that as close to an experience you can get to being in the same room with people right now is just texting and chatting during the movie. And I love doing that in real time, because then you can pop in with like interesting facts or interesting opinions. And yeah, so I think coming up, we are talking about having a study break event, and we're going to call it the Big Gay Study Break for April. And then I'm also hoping to plan out more events in advance for the upcoming year, maybe get like a calendar going so that the other execs have the time to promote and prepare for the events in good time. This has been the test year where we're all struggling to figure out how this all works. So we've had to do things on like very short notice. So we're hoping to do more advanced planning in the future.
This year has proved us to be extremely resourceful in these unprecedented times. That's the word of 2020 and 2021. That's just the buzzword.
So I asked a question to Denise and Francesca, our other commissioners as well, what they thought about working all together with all commissioners. And I guess I wanted to know how your experience has been to work as a team, to have sort of collaborative work on intersectional issues, and what that experience has been like for you.
Yeah, the collaboration has been awesome. Everybody are very keen and helpful, and I find each of this commissioner platforms, or each commissioners, represent not just a sole like silo issue, like each one is kind of intersectional, and it's really important that it should be viewed that way and not like separately, because then we're actually then creating other subcategories for each commissioner. So yeah, having collaborative events and projects are definitely a really good experience for me, and would love to then have further initiatives and project in this direction.
Awesome. And what about you, Shannon?
I've really enjoyed the intersectional work that we've done. It's awesome to get to work with other people and get other people's perspectives on things. Often because as a white settler Canadian, I feel kind of limited in my reach to kind of speak out about racial issues because I don't want to speak for people I don't have the kind of position to speak for. So it's awesome to get input from other people and kind of, I think, integral to doing advocacy work.
Yeah. I think all of you have done collectively amazing work. Elizabeth, how about you? How do you feel about?
It's really important for sure, and I think it's important for all the reasons that Jen and Shannon mentioned. But I think it's also important for our own well-being to know that we've got each other's backs, right? Like we're dealing with some very complex issues, and for those who experience those issues, there's a lot of emotional labor that is involved in doing the work we do. And so I think one of the beautiful things about working together is the interconnectedness, and that we do have the ability to support one another and lift each other up, because I think that the carrying the load alone can be really difficult. And so I think that's one of the beautiful things about opportunities to work together.
Well, from one grad student to another, thank you for all the work that you do and representing and being the face and the representation of all of these roles. Your work does not go unnoticed. We're very, very grateful. Every single grad student out there, for sure, from all the events, and again, all of the community that we've created in the SOGS community. It's definitely a fun place to be in, a great way to be involved and make the most of our time at Western and our graduate studies, for sure. So one question for you all, we're almost at the end of our episode. So how can we get in contact with all of you if we have any questions or any follow-ups to this episode?
You can email me at pride@sogs.ca. You can also, if you're on the SOGS Discord, I post under the username Lollipop Dragon.
Love it.
So you can contact me there.
You can email me at accessibility@sogs.ca. I'm not on Discord, but you are welcome to contact me on Twitter. I'm at Mohler, Mohlerc, or you can look me up on Facebook, Elizabeth Mohler.
For me, my email is indigenous@sogs.ca. I'm also in Discord sometimes, and my username is very easy. It's just Jen, Gen.
Awesome. And I guess I also want to thank all of you to be on our show. It's wonderful to have you, and I hope we can have more episodes as well, because we can continue in our conversations for as long as we want. There's so much to chat about, but thank you so much. This has been Gradcast, the official radio show and podcast of the Society of Graduate Students at Western University. I've been your host, Yousuf, and my co-host was Rhys. We've been speaking with Geneveave, Shannon, and Elizabeth. And this episode was produced by me. If you would like to be involved with the show or get in contact with us, email us at gradcastradio@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at Gradcast Radio. To listen to us, we are on the radio at Western Radio 94.9 FM. You can also find all of our episodes on our website at gradcast.ca or on podcast apps like Podbean, iTunes, and Spotify. Alternatively, select podcasts have been uploaded to YouTube at Gradcast Radio. Thank you for listening and have a terrific night.